Screen is visible. The screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, as the topic like demystifying the blockchain, so always there is misconception and uh, thoughts around in the industry like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and all this is a blockchain. And if government or some regulator comes and ban the cryptocurrency, then it will impact the blockchain adoption. And this is even not just the general audience, but people also who are running the blockchain startup in the public blockchain space. They also sees the same thing. Like if India is banning the cryptocurrency ban, then people will move to the nearby countries and maybe it will impact the blockchain adoption. But in this particular session, I'm going to cover like cryptocurrency is just one use case. There is a lot more beyond the cryptocurrency. So first, going there, just let's understand what is blockchain. So blockchain is a simply immutable timestamp series record of a data, and that provides security, single source of truth, and removing the intermediary, transparency, and trust. So this is a five basic feature and benefit of blockchain. And if we just see the basic computer engineering concept like cryptography, hashing, networking, and consensus, all is distributed computing even is not any new term that is already exists from decades. And blockchain actually combination of all these technologies together. So generally, a block plus chain. So whatever block we are creating in a blockchain, it is simply kind of linked list kind of data, and which signed by the private key of a particular node in the network. So we technically this using the cryptography and cryptography plus hashing to provide the data immutable. Immutable means like what is the data you are writing in the database in the ledger, it can't be deleted and not even tampered. And this is happened due to the cryptographic and hashing mechanism of a computer science. And other distributed computing, so how to talk to all the nodes in each other, that is already exists from many years. That called distributed computing. When I did in my computer engineering 15 years, 14 years before. So, but blockchain is kind of provide the mechanism to use all these technologies and build the some kind of consolidated technology to bring the trust and transparency. So all this is started with Bitcoin, like 2018 by Satoshi Nakamoto, and then everyone people know about the Bitcoin, and so they started with that thing, and it was just and the use case was just peer-to-peer cash transfer or electronic transfer on the time. But on that time there is no any kind of programming can be done on a ledger and blockchain to create some kind of use cases. It was just the payment transfer between the some nodes. So later, 2013, the Vitalik Buterin, who is a founder of Ethereum, so he founded the Ethereum, and he added the another layer, another concept called smart contract. Now everybody knows and understands who are aware about the blockchain and knows the blockchain. Whatever you are writing a data or writing some kind of ledger, you use some kind of a smart contract, it's some business logic and some connecting to the ledger to write some data. So that was not there when the Bitcoin was introduced and first launched. So while this concept initiated about this smart contract, this has completely changed the blockchain adoption, and there are lots of emerging use cases emerged due to programmability on the blockchain. And this is the main benefits of a smart contract. And now whatever we see about the NFTs and the stable coins and the any kind of use cases and kind of decentralized application, all is due to happen only due to the smart contract nature of a blockchain. So this is a basic introduction and history of the blockchain, but blockchain is beyond that one. And so if you see this is a PwC report, and it shows like by 2030 around 1.76 trillion global economy by on blockchain. So on by blockchain means like There are a number of use cases from education to supply chain to banking to financial services. All will be running some their business processes and data centers and data lasers on a blockchain itself. And this is another report from the Deloitte. It shows like all other executives in the industry always believing in blockchain, and year by year this uh, adoption curve and maturity of blockchain is increasing. If you see that rate, this is even an old report by 2020, but this is the 18, 20, 19 and 20 report, is clearly shows the willingness and maturity of blockchain is increasing, and it has become the strategic priority and integral part of the any organization's innovation practice. Whether they implement an NFT, whether they implement some kind of efficiency blockchain layer, or simply creating metaverse, all is a become a priority now. And not just the organization and specific academia using a blockchain, but as a government level, all the countries like national Australia, China, EU, Dubai, India, all have some kind of their blockchain practices. So I think other technologies, maybe like AI and cloud, it was not there. Like every country and everybody talking and building some kind of framework and some regulation or some kind of strategy to automate and bring the trust and efficiency in the e-governance services and promote the blockchain adoption. So must be people going through this national blockchain strategy, which is early this year launched by Ministry of IT and Telecommunication in India. And similarly, the way blockchain strategy, like by 2025, by 2030, they want to completely want to run the e-governance on the completely paperless transaction, and number of use cases in the plan. And currently, if you know about the CBDC kind of momentum and people talking about the CBDC, so 90 plus countries already in a mature discussion or some pilot POC level, and even some of them even goes in production to implement a blockchain based CBDC, central bank digital currency, like we have cryptocurrency. So so much adoption is happening. And so not just the cryptocurrency, when we generally people interact and we see in the media about the cryptocurrency every day. And now the NFTs, maybe you heard about it so much. But there, beyond that, there is a lots of number of use cases and industries are building on it. If you see this first blockchain 50 report, you could see there are a number of different companies. There are some banks, some kind of food company, some kind of even a Visa card, Walmart, Tech Mahindra, all are using blockchain and building something in a enterprise use case, not just the cryptocurrency. Even Hyperledger, which is where I present actually, is one of the enterprise blockchain framework. They never focused yet in a cryptocurrency and nor never plan to start a cryptocurrency kind of thing. Purely enterprise use cases, and that is different industries. So there are some kind of very well-known kind of case studies like R3, like GE Aviation, Walmart, and this IBM Mask, TradeLens, this CargoX, Inmobi. This is the insurance one. So all is, you see, all is using blockchain and building something on blockchain and maybe solving their business efficiency and transaction efficiency problem, but not using any kind of cryptocurrency in their businesses. And there are many such. You can see the difference. You can see the use cases why bank and finance, supply chain, healthcare, insurance, energy, real estate, trade, government, and I think so. Technically, in my view, whenever you could apply and solve the trust and transparency in any kind of transaction and business process system, blockchain can help and could be the one use case. It's not necessarily the whatever the industries name mentioned is only the blockchain. So, so here I just mentioned about the tokenization. You know, the tokenization is also a hot topic, and there's a crypto. In the tokenization itself, the cryptocurrency is just one part. There are other utility tokens, security tokens, CBDC, stable coins, NFTs, and each use case even have different use cases. Like suppose NFT, it could be asset, it could be asset, gaming, IP rights, CBDC, even like wholesale CBDC, retail CBDC, and then another use cases about the enterprises where the track and trace, provenance, identity management, like KYC, and kind of voting, title recording, document management, clinical trials, payment settlement, like NPCI must be knowing. In India is working on blockchain, the payment settlement company. Uh, and similarly, in all the aspect, wherever you can apply blockchain and solve some kind of uh, trust and transparency and maybe security or maybe uh, kind of auditability of the system. So this I talk about the use cases in general now, but I have some uh, number of different detailed kind of use cases. So I will go through it. So, and mainly I covered from the hyperledger, which is in the enterprise blockchain, but there could be other blockchains like R3 Corda is also from the hyperledger, also from the enterprise perspective. There is a consensus quorum, there is a Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. So now each use case, maybe you understand like blockchain used beyond our thoughts and our imagination. Like suppose here, post of Italy using blockchain. Now see India post using blockchain. Now you just think what could the use case. So here the use case is a loyalty reward point, because like post of Italy, they have a number of their different customers and their users and their different businesses together. Like suppose like in India, our post bank maybe has a post payment bank, right? They also got a banking. So how one particular uh, use case could be applied. So this is probably this is loyalty reward point. Like whatever the reward point we get, that is implemented on blockchain. This is done by the post of Italy. So this is the use case. Another like this is the we all know about this our how the bond market or maybe SEBI work in India and issuing a bonds and issuing some kind of bonds. So there's a issuing a bonds on a blockchain. This is also implemented, and there's a fractional bonds. Like for example, there is a bond has a high value. Then you could divide those bonds into some segments and some different fractionals, and that can be traded. So this is implemented in Singapore. This is digital identity. Like we have Aadhaar card in India. So but Aadhaar card is completely centralized, maybe maintained by one of the central servers in I7. But and that's why there are lots of issues about the data privacy and data security and data sharing, and there are lots of concerns raised by the people. But if this could be implemented by on blockchain layer, I think I know about some fact like there is already some kind of initiative going on to create the Aadhaar 2.0 to kind of enable the blockchain layer on the backend. So this is another use case which is implemented by the you know South African countries for the identity of the users, and that user could be operate and do the business with the regulators or the maybe banks or any kind of like how we use Aadhaar card that way. So this is identity management use case, and this is the use case of the insurance, mainly the smart cities. So this is even live project where the Dubai blockchain strategy, Dubai custom departments are using this particular solution. So this is a typical solution. You can understand like what are the different components and how uh, is happening. Like suppose your purchase order, PO verification. So this is completely supply chain kind of trade blockchain, like sourcing to contract to requisition, purchase order, receipts, and invoice payment. All is completely running on blockchain with different shareholder like Dubai Custom Department, maybe buyer, seller, or trader, or banks on a network. uh, this is the like energy. Even in India, there is a like Uttar Pradesh government and then Delhi government is piloting some kind of use cases or already implemented the use case of the peer-to-peer energy trading in solar energy in the Dubai already. Sorry, in Uttar Pradesh already done. And even Extra Future TV also work with one of the company to implement a renewable energy project and carbon tracking. Uh, for the one of the European customer, and that project deployed in India even. So this is the generally use case of this energy trading. This is the insurance use case, like, and this is a AI. This is a completely one of the regulator or some consortium of the different insurance company in US. They implemented this one. So you can see like the insurance carrier 1, 2, and other insurance and how it will work. This is another use case in the kind of identity management in some kind of banking system, like KYC kind of thing. This is a typical use case of like there's a issuer and then verifier and then some identity holder. This is very interesting, like CBDC, like is a hot topic. Like in India, also finance minister announced like they are going to implement and maybe launching the CBDC soon. So I think even 1 year before, and this is already done by the one of the National Bank of Cambodia, and is already live in production from last 2 years. And this is developed on the Hyperledger IROHA, central bank digital currency. So this is typically architecture, like there is a National Bank of Cambodia, their user account, their participant, and then another participant. So it's kind of some kind of wholesale kind of CBDC. And this is typically kind of a document management system. And even like suppose there are, if you understand the GDPR compliances, like you can't write and store the private data, and because GDPR compliances say that like you should able to delete and remove the private data, some this kind of information later. So there's a challenge for the blockchain, and there's lots of discussion like how if blockchain says immutable, but in the GDPR you need the data deletion. So how you could achieve this kind of system even? So this is already done by the one of the company, and this is completely supply chain kind of platform. Like we have like we have passport. There's just some kind of supplier digital passport for the supply chain. Like earlier, there's a post of Italy. This is similar then for the another use case. And here you see there is a retail partner, bookstore partner, and this is a loyalty platform. Loyalty reward point, you know. And this is a another use case for. So this is some kind of automation project actually. This is government of Sindh. I think this is Pakistan. I think implemented this particular project, and in the with the help of World Bank. And it's simply digital identity or those kind of project. Okay, now even I think they are taking some kind of grant and what the particular grant they received, that is credit. Laser domain, this is pharmaceutical use cases like traceability of a medicine or traceability of vaccines. So this is already implemented. So this is all. If you go through all the use cases, you must be knowing like this cryptocurrency just a use case, and there are a lot of things happening already on the blockchain. So any other use case? Any other question? Then I will take forward to talk about the different enterprise and how to build and how to implement this enterprise level use cases other than cryptocurrency. So any question? Let me check if I have something. Any question?
Kamleji,
Hello.
can you explain how blockchain works in financial market, or what is the use of blockchain in the finance domain? Or
Finance means banking, or because
Yeah.
means many other things.
Yeah, in banking, and what is the role of cryptocurrencies in blockchain?
Okay, so when I mention like cryptocurrency, just the use case. So without cryptocurrency, all the blockchain solution and project can exist.
Okay.
They don't require a cryptocurrency. So like all the use I mentioned here, they don't have any kind of cryptocurrency involved. All this.
Okay.
So cryptocurrency just the use case. Like we have a use case blockchain.
Okay.
Nothing more than that.
So it is just one of the use case scenario for blockchain, right?
Correct. And I think
Okay.
this is the first use case, and it started with that thing. Then lots of people only who is starting and jumping in blockchain only know that thing like cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and there are lots of discussion. That's why even government is confused to what to do with this regulation or other things.
So is the use of blockchain is for typical sharing of the information or anything else that blockchain provides?
Yeah. So yeah, simply like when you need some kind of data, some trust on the data, whatever data you're sharing, you can
Okay.
apply blockchain. Doesn't matter what the industry it is. Even like suppose ticketing industry is using blockchain. Like suppose we use the book MyShow, right? So book MyShow kind of companies are using blockchain in other countries. Even like suppose issuing a degree certificate. Even like recently we signed the MOU with MIT Edit University recently, and we are implementing a blockchain based degree certificate with them.
Okay. So
So,
that means the individual users, what is the use of blockchain for an end user, like a general public?
so general public, it doesn't matter like whether they are using a blockchain based system or not. So main benefit like such as so like degree certificate. When you get the degree certificate, student doesn't care is issued on blockchain or not blockchain, but is beneficial to the employer or beneficial to the university in terms of like how, like for example, uh, employer want to verify the degree certificate. So currently is the process like we raise a request via some kind of consultancy, and then someone visit the university, and then some certificate checked out. Maybe university go through the previous record and then stamped it. This is the correct certificate, and it is a long
Okay.
process. But suppose if
So
blockchain,
I take this opportunity. Yeah.
yeah,
So can I take this opportunity to show the similar use of blockchain in Aadhaar card verification?
yeah, correct. So I said that like even Aadhaar card, like but like abhi now when we verify Aadhaar card, whatever the
Hmm.
information is coming from the one centralized server.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, but here, but like for this kind of system, like government always want control. So maybe they can't distribute the nodes, but what can be achieved, like suppose, for example, blockchain also provides security in
Okay.
terms of hacking. So if you see the initial slide where I mentioned the blockchain and security, immutability means the data can't be deleted and avoided and removed. Trust and transparency because whatever the data you return is not going to tamper. Nobody can deny it simply.
So one similar scenario, like Google search engine. So nowadays, what happens? Google has different search networks geographically located. Like for India, Google.in, for US, Google.us or something. For England, it is Google.uk something.
Hmm.
So is it that the similar thing blockchain provides for geographically located or some
काय
different,
टाकायचं असेल तर टाक ना म्हणजे दुसरा गाणं टाक
nearest people to use it kind of networks?
एक
I
पिशव्या
think
दोन टाक
not necessarily. So I think this Google thing you mentioned about they have different domains
Yeah.
to according to the specific user get the data from the specific thing. So that is a typically use case of distributed computing we can say.
So is the blockchain is also distributed?
So blockchain is one of the characteristics. It should be distributed.
Okay.
So this is one. I think like simply one is a distributed ledger. Ledger means a database. Another is smart contract, and third is consensus. Consensus means whatever the data you are writing in these ledgers across these distributed nodes, what is the authenticity and what is the approval mechanism.
Oh.
So this four component is create a blockchain simply.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So whatever
Thanks.
traditional technology we know, distributed computing, lasers, cryptography, consensus, like suppose consensus means simply is kind of approval mechanism, right? Simply is a kind of, for example, suppose if you want to go to some particular place and we 10 friends want to decide some particular one place, how will decide? Majority of the people say we will go to that one. Similarly, in a blockchain, like suppose you might heard about the proof of stake and all other consensus mechanism.
So I think use of blockchain is to make the services faster to the end users, or have a common platform for sharing of the data. This is the
So
use of
yeah,
blockchain.
yeah, correct. So that was right. So like suppose
Okay.
so like kind of creating and building a trust on the data, whatever the consumer or whatever the businesses are using to each other.
Okay.
So like you mentioned about the what is the use case in finance industry. So take example,
Hmm.
suppose in India we have 600 plus banks. Now all the banks doing transaction and they every bank having their own database and own systems, right? On software, even on website and on even ATM cards, ATM and ATM machines. And so everyone is managing their own database. And like for example, I have some HDFC Bank card account, and I do the transaction with 10 other banks. So at the end of the month, they will try to reconcile this data. Reconcile this data. Like suppose HDFC account, companies use this account at 10 banks. So so now this HDFC bill bank will pay the this 10 banks some amount at the end of the cycle man in the cycle, because I use my HDFC card to retrieve and transfer the account to some other thing. So this reconciliation and here is the data involved, right? So the number of banks are doing transaction together and they are maintaining them on data proof. Yeah, on truth of their data. Like suppose whatever I say, this is my data. Maybe same data I do the transaction with you, and maybe you can deny, no, this transaction not happen. But suppose if this transaction recorded in a blockchain-based system, and blockchain-based is distributed ledger, that means whatever the data you have, I will leave in the same copy. And this data is updated via the smart contract. That means we all agreed on some condition to update this database, and then even we reach some kind of decision making before updating this ledger. So if this happen all this in this manner, then nobody can deny. Not you can deny, not I can deny, because all is recorded with some consensus plus some smart contract which we mutually decided.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah. So I think related to NFT, there is a question from Rushabh
Okay.
Chudiwal. Would you like to take this question now, or we can discuss at the end?
Yeah, I can take.
So the question is, can I paste it on the chat box again? Do you have access to chat box?
I have, but I'm not able to see it. Just one minute.
Okay.
Now I can see.
Yeah, yeah.
The audience can type their question here. Okay. As NFT in the data store, can you explain how it works to buy the Okay, so this NFT thing is now trending. I think everyone may be knowing about like even the Nike shoes, even the photos, images, videos, even like people are buying some kind of even virtual lens in some kind of metaverse kind of environment. It's NFT only. So NFT is simply as a non-fungible token, and technically, if you see, this is one of kind of the shows the ownership of the particular thing in a digital environment. Like for example, suppose I have a land property, so I have some property document to show it is belongs to me. But in a digital world, how you will show that one? So so NFT is that way. So like whatever like suppose if you want to show this particular painting belongs to me, you record all those painting parameters and all the things on the blockchain and create some kind of token ID. Now who are holding this token ID, he is the owner of that one. And we know like in blockchain all the transactions are recorded and history being not deleted. So like for example, if I belong this uh, particular painting and I sold to someone else, he sold to someone else, so there is always traceability ki who is the first owner and real owner. So kind of getting the royalty and getting the ownership and getting the intellectual property rights is very easy. Otherwise, like suppose in the YouTube, we know like everybody just downloading videos and uploading it with changing some name. And same thing happened with the media and the photography and even our paintings. But if we record something digital ownership particular item. So whoever holds the copy, there's a traceability about who is the first owner and how it will traverse across the cycle. And this is for the generally and not, and even NFT is not just only for the art and galleries and photos and videos. This is beyond the use cases. Like suppose even like people are now using issuing a degrees even on the as NFT. Even like having a suppose product traceability on a kind of NFT. Like so even like kind of having a NFT of a whiskey, having a NFT of a one Rolex watch, because you want to. So now currently, how you show the Rolex watch ownership via some certificate. You this is you bought, and now but if you sold someone else, there's a no tracking. But if something is recorded on the blockchain, there is always traceability in that front. I think this is generally NFT. I think. You know how it works to buy digital things. How okay.
So, just to summarize that, if a person buys something or sells something on Amazon, say,
Hmm.
it can be easily integrated with blockchain as well.
Yeah, correct. So even recently, there is a even business plan by the Flipkart. They want to integrate the blockchain based NFTs with all the product. So simply, how you kind of set the ownership of the particular product. Blockchain can be and NFTs could be one use case.
So, in existing payment gateways, in existing e-commerce applications, blockchain can be work as a backend to
Yeah,
manage the
yeah,
chain of
correct,
actions, right?
correct.
Okay, okay. I think that was what Rishabh was interested.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, Rishabh, any other questions from your side? Rishabh Chudwal? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one small question.
Hmm.
Is there any overhead of using blockchain technology in some resource constraint networks?
In terms of
Computing power,
networking.
memory, battery.
Yeah, so obviously, like suppose, like earlier, like suppose we recording laser and there's a one copy. Now
Hmm.
suppose in a blockchain is a multiple copies.
Right.
So always you are using more
There is
energy,
overhead.
more
Yeah.
storage, and more
Hmm.
networking.
Okay. 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 Okay.
But generally, we need to see the applicability and benefits of blockchain irrespective of this drawbacks.
Right. 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 Got it.
Okay, so you can see my presentation, right?
Hmm. Hmm, hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So so talk about in general this thing about this thing. But if we uh, divide the blockchain space, there are public blockchain where this Ethereum and Bitcoin or this all this cryptocurrency kind of project built on NFTs or whatever. And then another word where we see private blockchain and consortium or kind of business level blockchain like Hyperledger, like R3 Coda, like Consensus Quorum, even like Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. So how you can decide like why we need the private or permission blockchain? So simply like for example, or like for example, if Aadhaar card kind of information can't be put in a public blockchain like Ethereum because that is accessible or available to everyone in the world. First thing. Another thing like everybody is doing a transaction and validating your data if you're writing something. That is completely unnecessary in terms of a business level transaction. For example, suppose I am transferring account the money from account A to account B between bank HDFC and Citibank. There should be only HDFC and Citibank should do the approval. Not necessarily there are 600 banks should do the approval. So this kind of use cases generally permission and private blockchain required where you want to restrict the access level of the transaction and the data availability. And that is the how the business works. Like suppose I'm doing some kind of purchase order decision with another supplier. So I have different terms with each other. So I can't write this kind of information in some kind of public ledger. There's the one data security perspective. Another issue about performance, because like suppose if I am doing suppose I am doing some payment transaction and it is recorded on some Ethereum blockchain, and Ethereum blockchain used by all over the globe. So unnecessarily my transaction is waiting for that much period, and that's why you must be seeing like cryptocurrency prices is volatile, and now gas prices, what are the transaction fees required to do the transaction is increasing, because maybe 5 years before only there was suppose 1 lakh users, now is maybe 100 lakh users. So number of users are increased in the public blockchain. So transaction speed also decreases. Also the time sense that increase. So, but I don't need this kind of condition in my private blockchain space, like whether supply chain, whether banking, whether identity management by some system, whether land records by suppose Maharashtra government. It's not necessarily Maharashtra government report all the transaction in a public blockchain like Ethereum, and everybody seeing and validating the transaction and taking so much time. So this kind of use cases generally suitable for the kind of private and permission kind of blockchain like Hyperledger is one of this case, one of the blockchain. There are many. And so even in Hyperledger itself, there are multiple blockchains like Besu, Buro, Fabric, Indi, Roha, Satut. And if you see all this above 6 blockchain, there's 6 separate blockchain like Ethereum. And all blockchain pick use cases perspective. Like for example, if you're building some kind of supply chain solution, then start with the right architecture and right framework. If you're building some kind of identity management use cases, then Indy is a perfect thing. If you're building some kind of tokenization, some kind of payment kind of project, then Besu is a right fit. And if you're building general blockchain and any kind of use case, then Fabric is right fit. And all these clouds provider are implementing a blockchain, and none of them are using and building on cryptocurrency. All are using some kind of Hyperledger Fabric as a cloud provider to the customers. And so this is all the different Hyperledger blockchains. So is this clear? I think now we can discuss about the specific question, I think, because after that it will become so much complex and technical, which blockchain and what projects.
So one question regarding blockchain. What are the challenges in applying the blockchain in our existing businesses?
One thing about the business model, and even before that, even there is a very hard convincing someone to benefits. So like if there is no ROI of the project, then there is no meaning. And I think we should not implement. So that is one challenge to convince someone and giving the, and I think that required education. So mostly now what is happening, mainly people who are implementing a blockchain, even they are not aware, and they onboard some customers and doing some project, and later there is no beneficial to them. So it's confusing. So there's one challenge. But technically, I don't believe any technical challenges. If you have a right use case and you can convince the right ROI, then it could be implemented. There's no technical changes. I understand.
Okay. So again, going back to cryptocurrencies. So given the legality of the cryptocurrencies in India, then how this can play a role in Indian markets with cryptocurrencies?
So a cryptocurrency, if you see, is completely volatile, and I think I even I personally don't believe in cryptocurrency, because today it has some value, and tomorrow it could be zero, or it could be something. But regulating or banning the cryptocurrency is not impact the blockchain adoption in the world.
Okay. So is there any specific thing or use case of blockchain in Indian context? Is there any difference?
You mean use cases?
Yeah.
So I think in India there are a number of use cases implemented, from land registry, from the education certificate, or for even the banking. And so, like suppose if you are building some kind of supply chain solution, then suppose if you are building some kind of supply chain solution, then you need to In NPCI, we know that insurance companies, and there's a even climate action groups now. People are using it like carbon tokens, NFTs, supply chain, food traceability is a larger use cases,
Yeah.
and, and trade finance, e-governance like Karnataka government. Even we are working with Karnataka government for their land registry and our vendor portal on blockchain. Tamil Nadu government, Telangana. So e-governance because uh, how you can create the efficient service to the consumer. This is a consumer or maybe your citizens. This is one use case.
Okay. So, given these challenges, so are there any risk with applying the blockchain?
I know. I think there is no risk. I think if if you have a right business model, then there is no risk. But if you are implementing a blockchain for like people are implementing, and
Yeah.
there is no ROI, then it's definitely
Mhm.
risk. And at the end of the day, it will go the wrong message or maybe uh, business creativity also.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. So you can continue the next thing.
Yeah. So any other questions? I think I had done with my presentation.
Okay.
Because after that, there's so much technical.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that is not.
Understood. So is the blockchain network different than the current environments, or is it the same?
So it's the same. Like so, what are the technologies we are using? The
Mhm.
same cloud, same data centers, same programming languages.
Okay.
Nothing.
So it is just to add something for quick access and quick storage.
Yeah. So
Right.
mainly uh, bring the trust and transparency in a business process. And it could be any kind of use cases.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. Male sir, do you have any other questions?
No, sir. No.
This